Coming up on Tech News Today, Hulu messes up Facebook, but Google might be buying Hulu, so maybe they can fix it. And Facebook's awesome announcement is coming up next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Friday, Canada Day, July 1st, 2011. Tech News Today is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Jason Howell. And joining us oddly by Skype is Justin Robert Young from the Weird Things podcast and that show he does with Brian Brushwood.
Yeah, hey, Tom, Sarah, Iyaz, and Jason. I'm coming to you live. I was going to be in studio, but you guys
don't have
enough
any
chairs.
You don't have enough mics.
No chairs, no mics. So we were running low on time, so I just ran up the street. Ran up Keller Street. I just came into the first open door that I saw, and so far no one's kicked me out. So I might have to leave halfway through.
He may get rousted by the cops for squatting.
Yes.
At some point during the show.
Like an errant hobo.
We couldn't even send him upstairs because we got so many people packed into the cottage these days.
Oh, you guys stop hiring people.
I know.
Please.
I'm glad you found a place to hang out. It's good to have you at least in the vicinity.
Somewhere in Petaluma, undisclosed location.
Let's start off with a couple of stories about Hulu today. First story: Hulu attempting to launch more social features using Facebook Connect. How'd that go, Iyaz?
Not so well. I mean, the original plan was Hulu was going to... They already had Facebook Connect. You could log in with that. But on the bottom of videos now, you could see this big button, and you could click Connect with Facebook, and that would allow you to share videos. In theory, that's what you were supposed to do. But apparently, if you could sign in and try to link your accounts, you might see somebody else's account, either another person's Hulu account or another person's Facebook account, so you could have access to all kinds of data that you weren't supposed to. So then Hulu decided to shut it all down.
Right, well, because you'd have access to somebody's entire account. People were seeing, like, their LinkedIn profiles and job histories. Like, one person actually wrote that they had been logged into the account of a Hulu.com employee who used to work at Facebook.
Yeah, and the thing is about Hulu is their profiles are really, really complete. I mean, they have information about your zip code, your location, all other kinds of things like that. Because I'd forgotten, like, what's in my profile? I'm like, oh, that's a lot of information. I completely forgot, because back when Hulu was a closed beta, they actually asked for a lot of this data. Isn't that right?
Even for people who didn't end up in someone else's domain or account, I guess domain is the wrong word to use here. I tried to set it up on Chrome. I'm a Hulu member, and I got Facebook Connect to come up. I said, yeah, okay, allow to post things on my wall, whatever. And that's as far as it went. I got my Connect button, and then every time I hit Connect, it would just sort of flash on the screen. I thought, well, maybe it's a Chrome issue. Tried Safari, Firefox, same thing. So it never worked anyway. They weren't ready for prime time. But apparently this is actually, they've been testing this out for a couple of months and just went public with it now.
It's too bad, because if you actually link the account, you get a free month of Hulu Plus, but nobody can do that.
Sponsored by Bing.
That's right. Microsoft and Hulu working together.
No, I'll tell you, is there anybody more excited than Google about this? Like, they launched a big social network, and it's Facebook that has the major privacy issue. That's going to be a huge kerfuffle.
Yeah, exactly. And Google Plus, a couple of minor things here and there, but for the most part,
like not being
a solid
no invites.
launch. Yeah.
That's the minor problem now.
Yeah, well, but that's almost by design, right? They're like, well, we got to slow down the invites.
Test.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, for the most part, it's been smooth sailing, good buzz.
Unlike the last Google buzz.
I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help it.
But when Hulu and Facebook get it all figured out, you'll not only get a free month of Hulu Plus, supposedly, but there'll be a large Facebook Connect button under the videos that will allow you to share with other folks on Facebook, not just the video, but a particular point. Like, it'll mark the place in the video that you're watching, so you can say, hey, check out this zinger that Jon Stewart got in, and other people, when they click on it, will be taken right to that point you're talking about. That's pretty cool. I like
it's cool. It's similar to if I'm watching a YouTube video and there's a really funny thing 1 minute in, it's like, you right-click and you say, copy the link at this point, and I send it to you. I don't want to only be able to send it to you via Facebook. In fact, that would probably be the way that I would share links the least. on my profile. But for some people, this would be great.
I want it to be by Hulu or by Google Plus. Almost
Yeah.
said Hulu Plus. Hulu,
Well, it seems like for Hulu that they're really trying to get people onto this Hulu Plus thing before they have to start putting in the more ads that were mandated by the new re-upped content agreements.
right, and Hulu Plus, Google Plus, wouldn't that be nice if Google bought Hulu and they could just kind of meld those two together?
Google.
Pluses collide.
LA Times citing people familiar with the situation. I got to put another search
there you
link
go.
into peoplefamiliarwiththematter.com. People familiar with the situation say that Google is in preliminary talks to buy Hulu. Now, there's been a lot of FUD out there about people buying Hulu in the past week. Hulu is also supposedly talking with Microsoft, with Yahoo. I'm surprised they aren't talking with, like, you know, the guy down in Mexico is the richest man in the world now. I mean, they're really pumping this stock up. And according to Janney Capital Markets analyst Tony Wibble, Hulu is only valued at around $2 billion. Not bad, but, you know, that's a cheap thing for
billion,
somebody
yeah.
to pick up if with the user base that Hulu has and the brand recognition that it
For a
has.
company like Google to have about $2 billion laying around, I think all these companies that are rumored, there's Google and apparently a dozen others, including Microsoft and Yahoo. We talked about Yahoo before, but Microsoft also makes this quite interesting. $2 billion for these guys. They're very cash rich, so they could probably pick this up pretty easily. But I'm still kind of confused how Hulu would work with YouTube. Would they merge that? Because when Google had two sets of video properties, Google Videos and YouTube, Google Videos got the axe.
No, well, that would be brilliant, frankly, because the broadcast network started Hulu with a lot of bravado, saying we're going to crush YouTube. If Google ended up buying Hulu and creating HuluTube or Hulugle Plus.
Yeah,
I think Hulu
but,
too,
but then again, with Hulu, it seems like they're just an empty shell. If all of a sudden Walt Disney and News Corp say so, you know what is Hulu if it's only the mandated content that Comcast has to give them because they merged with NBC?
That's an important point. Hulu has been re-upping their deals long-term. They've never gotten long-term deals from their own partners before. Now they have long-term deals with Walt Disney and News Corp. Comcast agreed to give up NBC Universal's management control in the venture, so that may be affecting why they haven't signed a long-term deal with NBC yet. Just don't forget Comcast owns NBC now. But they are trying to put the pieces in place for a buyer to say, hey, we've got terms locked down with our major suppliers of content, so that won't be an issue right off the bat.
Well, with not having these content companies partially owning Hulu, I mean, it's a great idea for NBC or for Walt Disney to say, hey, Google, we want a lot more money than we were charging Hulu originally because they were a part of it. Of course, they would have very, very favorable terms, even though they didn't negotiate in a friendly manner. But in this case, they would really, really have some serious arm's length negotiations with Google to get some real money out of those guys.
Carlos Slim was the guy I was trying to think of earlier. Thank you, chat room.
That guy in Mexico with all the
Carlito.
money.
There is no word on Carlos Slim being involved in any of these negotiations
Yet. Not
But
yet.
yeah, this is all stock pumping, in my opinion. There's probably some reality behind it, but there's a big difference between somebody taking a meeting and somebody being seriously interested. Lots of people, when Tech TV was up for sale, took meetings in order to poke through the books and be able to see some proprietary information. Not as nearly as many people were actually interested in buying.
Put money on the table.
Yeah. Money was on the table for the Nortel patents, though. We've talked about that. Google was a lead bidder in this, and they have been sold for $4.5 billion to the consortium.
The consortium made up of Apple, EMC, Ericsson, Microsoft, RIM, and Sony.
Who's not in that group?
That small company that started the whole bidding, $900 million, Google. They didn't bother to put up any money in this because this $4.5 billion, again, Google has a lot of money, for some reason decided to not buy a whole bunch of patents that would probably help them out with Android because they're the subject of 45 different patent infringement lawsuits right now. So they could really use this, but it's almost like now those other guys, the competitors, have the ability to just say, hey, let's cross-license with Google anytime we want. They have a lot of leverage right now with Apple, EMC, Ericsson, Microsoft, RIM, and Sony. That's a really interesting group.
Florian Mueller, if you don't know, blogs for FOSS Patents, fosspatents.blogspot.com, is questioning Google's commitment to Android over this, saying, look, if they're going to defend Android's patent, viability, and that has been called into question several times. There hasn't been anything serious yet, but there have been a lot of threats. They need to build up a patent stockpile, because if you don't know, we've talked about this on TNT before, the way you fight patents is with other patents. You know, there's these urban legends of people coming in and just setting down the paperwork of their patents on the table and measuring them, and then figuring out a bit of licensing deal based on who had the taller stack. I mean, it's all about mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, if Google is already embroiled in 45, I think, patent infringement lawsuits currently, wouldn't this just make perfect sense for them? It's unclear to me why they wouldn't have fought harder.
Yeah, I was looking at the consortium, though. It does have partners like Sony and Ericsson. I mean, Sony Ericsson makes Android phones, so maybe they thought that they have some kind of deal with them to make everything okay. Then again, Microsoft has something to gain when Android sells as well, because I know Microsoft gets paid when Android phones are sold. So a lot of these guys actually have interest in competition. Plus, Apple doesn't want to deal with that whole anti-competitive stuff, so they need to have Android around. So it's almost like these guys own it, and they have a nice deal together, but there's no way they're going to kill Android based on this. I mean, I think if people start freaking out and go, oh, they're going to kill Android, it's not going to happen.
No, I'll tell you what, though, big picture, though, what does it say about the disruptive power of a free OS that's as powerful as Android when, you know, like you said, Iyaz, it's a motley crew that banded together for this, you know, Apple, EMC, Ericsson, Microsoft, and RIM and Sony. These are companies that do not like each other in a lot of other areas, but against Google and for these patents that Google really needed or wanted and possibly needed, they're willing to pony up and get on the same team.
Yeah, well, it's possible that Google was in there trying, you know, communicating with the consortium, but then why they wouldn't be in the consortium in that case is odd to me. But yeah, it's not like the people who ended up getting the Nortel patents are patent trolls or squatters or people who are
not
just
Lotus.
going.
Yeah,
exactly.
or Carlos Slim, for that matter.
Is he a patent troll?
I don't know.
Are you calling out
He can do
Carlos?
whatever he wants.
How do you think he got
I'd be
so
careful,
rich?
man. You know, he could buy and sell all of us like 6 times over. Carlos Slim is a great man.
Yes.
And we want him
Anyway.
to buy us.
Today in Slim is brought to you by
Netflix. Actually, Tech News Today is brought to you by Netflix. Netflix streams thousands of TV episodes and movies directly to you instantly. Not quite right into your brain yet, but they're getting there. They're on so many platforms it might as well be. You can watch movies on your TV, on your Mac, your PC, your iPad. You got a game console, you can watch Netflix right now on your television. Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii. If you're not a gamer, plenty of other options like the Roku, the Apple TV. You can watch it on your iPad, your iPhone, your Android phone. Begin watching a movie on one device. Let's say you're on the bus and you're watching it on your phone, and then I'm home, I got to pause. You can pick it up on your Roku, your Xbox, pick it up right where you left off. It's a pretty fantastic way to catch all kinds of movies and TV shows. In fact, I find I watch TV shows as often as movies, just kind of plowing through old episodes of stuff. So whichever way you choose to access Netflix, you can watch as many as you want for one low monthly free. Did I say free? I meant one low monthly fee. But that fee can be free for you right now.
How many movies do you think you could watch in 30 days if you really put your mind to it?
Forget the movies. They just got Star Trek. That just happened today.
Yes.
Let's watch all of Star Trek for free on Netflix.com.
How many episodes of Star Trek do you think you get through in 30 days?
If I don't come into work?
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
Well, why would you come to work? You just
I can watch them at
drop
work.
everything in your life.
I'm watching one right now.
So, folks, don't quit your job. Just call in sick. Or if you're already a Netflix subscriber, tell your friends and then go to their house and watch all this stuff with them. Netflix.com/twit is the URL to get the 30 days free. We thank Netflix for their support. So pass that URL around to your friends and help a brother out, will you?
Make it so.
Because we ain't Zynga. We ain't getting $1 billion by going IPO with a rather limited amount of viability. Zynga has filed papers with the Securities and Exchange Commission in order to take the company public, freeing the financial press from their long national nightmare of waiting for Zynga to finally file the papers.
Yeah, really. This is not a surprise. It's just official.
Now, when you comb through these papers, one of the interesting things you find is quotes like this. We generate substantially all of our revenue and players through the Facebook platform and expect to continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Goes on to talk about, and really, of that, we make most of our money from like 2 or 3 games. Farmville, Mafia Wars.
Cityville.
A little bit from Cityville.
Yeah.
It's just a really good thing that everything on the internet stays around forever and never goes away or stops being popular.
Yeah, and when something's a really hot trend, you know for sure, especially something like Farmville, that in 20 years people will still be playing it.
The same people.
Absolutely.
Right.
As well as new people.
I love the term foreseeable future. I
Yeah.
mean, that's whenever someone says that, I'm like,
Legal
that
term.
doesn't sound good.
You know, it's all through Facebook, and that ain't changing.
I can't see beyond the fog.
The
Yes.
fog book.
We are almost positive through the middle of August that we'll be making money.
A portion of the proceeds for the IPO are going to charitable causes?
Yeah, apparently Zynga's trying to get people. I mean, they want $1 billion, so that's not like they're like the other companies out there. Like, oh, we want a couple $1 million. IPO. There's a Zynga.org apparently, and a portion of what is raised will go towards charitable causes that you can find at Zynga.org. But then again, I mean, there is Google Plus. It's gaining some traction, so maybe with their games integration, Facebook won't be as substantial as it is right now for a company like Zynga.
Well, that's a good point. What other platforms does Zynga have to really become as successful as they are?
And the other thing is, Facebook to a lot of people is the internet. So like, our revenue is substantially on Facebook's like saying our revenue is substantially on the internet.
yeah, it's
like,
FAOL's book.
These games too. I mean, we can laugh at them and that they're silly and people play them and then maybe they won't play them anymore. But they also have something in common, which has made Zynga successful, is that they're simple, they're easy to sign up for, and there's
have
not
a
like a
level of
learning
addiction to
curve
them.
or
And
they're
anything.
very annoying.
There's a bit of a gambling aspect that
I
keeps
play
people
Wii
coming
Rule,
back.
so
you
I
know
ain't
all
throwing
about
any
it.
stones, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, in that sense, they kind of have a proven model. It's just they're probably just gonna have to keep rolling out games when one stops being as popular as it is.
And I think if they didn't set the bar so high at $1 billion,
Right.
that it might not cause as much consternation of like, you want $1 billion and that's all you're banking on? Like, what you're banking on isn't bad. You're right, Sarah, but
Well, if they're going to get $1 billion, what's Facebook going to get when they eventually do their IPO in the long run? Just imagine what Facebook could be worth.
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't
We
even
want
know what
300
Carlos,
billion.
Slim can think about that kind of dollar figure
Yeah.
for
Only him.
Facebook.
A great, great man. The IPO, by the way, will make Zynga the first publicly held company that makes its revenues mostly from virtual goods.
They're not selling you anything real.
So we can start the virtual good exchange, sub-index right now with Zynga. And
I want to buy a share of that stock for 4 bales of Farmville hay.
you also will there's no truth to the rumor that you will only be able to buy the stock with Facebook credits.
No.
You will be able to buy it with real money.
Yes.
Northwest and Ethical Investments have been making a push to divide the roles of chairman and CEO at RIM. This was mentioned in what is now being known as the JAM document,
The
as
Butter
opposed
Jam.
to the peanut butter document.
Oh, that's cute.
It was the anonymous RIM
But
employee.
they're too good for jelly?
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either that or they're in a jam.
What's
Well, they're
Canada,
Canadian.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And happy Canada Day again. RIM announced that it has reached an agreement with those investors to withdraw their proposal, stop putting pressure on them, and in exchange, RIM agreed to set up an independent committee to look at the necessity of having a lead director on the board versus a chairman, and whether co-CEOs Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie need to have significant board of director level titles and provide guidance on whether they should get rid of that jointly held CEO
God,
title.
nobody likes that. And they're like,
Do you really
we-
need a committee?
They,
Nobody wants
They
it.
obviously feel that they need each other, or maybe someone's blackmailing someone else.
Talk about
but for whatever
codependency.
reason, yeah, exactly. It's like, I need you. We're not going to be split up, right?
Yeah, but Balsillie's hanging out outside of his window with the boombox over his head,
For Lizardus.
Lazaridis, I can't quit you.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Committee report is due on January 31st, 2012, so that kicks it down the road a ways. And then RIM's board will have 30 days to respond to that, so it won't be till the end of February that we actually find out if RIM is going to make any kind of change or not. On a side note, Boy Genius Report, which published the original anonymous RIM letter, see yesterday's Tech News Today, episode 275, if you want more on that, has quotes from 2 other open letters to Boy Genius Report. Copycat open letters.
Me
Couple
too.
interesting quotes in there.
Yeah, I took a look at the letters, and here's one from the legal department. People around the office started referring to the office politics as Survivor, RIM Edition. And another person wrote in and said, each one of us has been handcuffed by overdone, poorly planned, and every more poorly...
Even more.
Sorry, even?
Probably.
No, I think
Makes
it's
sense.
I'm going to keep saying this stuff now. More poorly executed process. It can take weeks of time to make small changes and months to make major ones. So, I mean, there are some really very unhappy people at RIM right now.
This is exactly what you were talking about yesterday, Tom, is like when corporate bureaucracy just slows everything down to sludge and no one's happy anymore. No one wants
paralysis.
Right, corporate paralysis.
I can't move.
I need to innovate and I can't. But yeah, it sounds like people are really frustrated.
My stock has fallen and I can't get up.
Is the company going to be around on the 31st of January 2012?
Oh yeah, they'll be around. These guys are
There'll
still...
be a subdivision of...
No, well, they may be bought, I guess,
HP.
but no, RIM still has a very significant chunk of the market share. They're not going away within the next year.
The other thing is, and this is my next made this point, the fact is this committee report is going to be then turned over to the board of directors, which is made up partially of...
Jim Balsillie and...
Right, so they'll be like, we don't like that. We want to stay where we are. So let's see what happens on next year.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to say, I mean, there's just nothing about this that in any way seems like it's getting to the root of the problem. You know, you have your employees revolting and sending emails to anybody who will listen. You have a co-CEO problem that nobody seems to like, and it's going to be solved by a committee, which will then give their problem to another committee that is made up of the two CEOs. It is just one morass being solved by a bigger, larger, more incomprehensible morass.
And I am in favor of more ass, but not morasses. Finally, Spotify, it's Liquid Friday, Spotify and Facebook, apparently, and Justin's a bad influence, apparently Spotify and Facebook in talks for a music service. This is a report from CNET's Greg Sandoval. He thinks Facebook and Spotify have an agreement, and that will be the awesome announcement for next week. By the way, they've given a date, July 6th, 2 p.m. We've got a date for Facebook's awesome announcement, the
awesome
Stop Paying Attention to Google Plus announcement that will happen next week. TechCrunch says that Facebook will launch an in-browser video chat powered by Skype.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is Michael Arrington reporting this, and the idea would be that if you had Skype, you would have pretty much an in-browser experience, and if you didn't have Skype, you'd have to download it, and you'd still have a desktop component on top of it. Considering how Microsoft's really, really close to Facebook, and they've invested heavily in them, and Microsoft is buying Skype, it actually makes a lot of sense that this would eventually happen, because, I mean, one of the things we noticed about Google Plus was, oh, this Hangout feature is really neat. Why doesn't Facebook have this? And this would really solve that problem.
One of the things that we didn't mention yesterday when we talked about the awesome announcement is that Zuckerberg was in Seattle and indicated that the announcement was based on work being done in the Seattle office. Now, the Seattle office works on mobile, which has given rise to the idea that it might be an iPad app. But that doesn't sound all that awesome, frankly. It's like, iPad app, yeah, we've been waiting for that, you know, unless it's significantly cool. MG Sigler over at TechCrunch says it's not going to be Project Spartan, but the Seattle office is trying to build a desktop software team. So it's highly unlikely, according to his sources, that the announcement would be an iPad app. Maybe it would be some desktop-related something, which would take us back to that Skype thing.
Yeah, I think the way that this has been presented, we're going to launch something awesome. Obviously, Facebook is well aware of all the rumors swirling about what Facebook's working on. So that the way that they're presenting this to everybody, if it was an iPad app, it'd be like, well, yeah, we all figured it was happening any day now, type of a thing.
Yeah,
that seems pretty anticlimactic.
It could be all of this stuff at one time. That makes it awesome. If it's just one of these things, like, it's kind of neat.
Like Christmas. You just keep throwing. And one more thing.
I think also...
2 more things. 3 more things.
Even if it isn't really very awesome or special and it's something that we go, yeah, we knew that was coming, it all is to deflect from Google Plus as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not... they have something to announce, but it's like, even if it's not that cool, just announce something.
Yeah.
Get some attention.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. Number one, if it's a Skype thing, when is the last time that we've put Skype and exciting innovation in the same sentence at all? You know, even if it's Facebook related.
I wish Skype had exciting innovation.
That would be
exactly. There we go. That would be the only one that you could do. And you know, as far as like the music service, so you have a music service that is already available in some form with other, you know, by other kind of companies, but now it's integrated in Facebook. I just don't see any of that being, you know, like, oh my God, that's why I need to focus on Facebook again, as opposed to this, you know, exciting new baby Google Plus.
The new baby. I'm actually having a lot of fun on Google Plus. I'll just come right out and say it.
Fanboy. What a
Fanboy.
fanboy
Good
thing
of you
to
to come to
say.
terms with that,
Drink
Tom.
the Kool-Aid a little bit more, why don't you?
You know what, Tom? +1 to that comment.
Tasty Kool-Aid. Well, I'm
it.
not
You guys-
hanging out with you
You guys are in my
anymore.
fanboy
You
circle
certainly
now.
haven't sparked any ideas lately. Not going to ask you to a huddle.
That's okay with me.
Time for news cues. We mentioned previously on TNT the Bitcoin crashed at the Mt. Gox exchange caused by hackers, and it turns out some more information was revealed by PC World today. The attack consisted of counterfeiting Bitcoins, which is not supposed to be possible, and in fact it's still virtually impossible to forge an actual Bitcoin, but Mt. Gox was not using the public-private key setup meant to prevent forgery when conducting transactions, thus allowing for faked coins that in the end were totally worthless because they wouldn't validate as real Bitcoins to be traded. And they say that these things will not be validated in an actual Bitcoin wallet, but it contributed to that violation.
The Bitcoin saga just gets more confusing. DigiTimes usually has pretty reliable Apple rumors since they come from suppliers of materials to build Apple stuff. Taiwan-based companies included in the supply chain for iPhone 5 and iPad 3 have reportedly begun to prepare materials for the production of the two devices, which would have them make their debuts in September and hit the market in October. Just in time for my birthday. Thanks in advance, everybody.
Yay, more Apple
Release
rumors.
the Kraken!
Professional editors feeling burned by Apple's decision to radically redesign Final Cut Pro? Adobe feels your pain. The company has announced a switching program where users of Final Cut Pro or Avid, I don't know why Avid is in there, but can get Adobe Creative,
hey, why not?
Adobe Creative Suite CS 5.5 Production Premium or Adobe Premiere Pro CS 5.5 at half price. The offer runs out on September 30th.
Really? They should have just said anyone, because all you need is their offer code to get it. And it's $400 instead of $800.
Well,
So it's actually a really
that's
good
for
deal.
Premiere Pro. The CS5
Right.
is like
No, that's
I'm switching
$900.
from Windows Movie Maker. Give me the discount. Hold on, Valerie Noble just added me on Google+. Oh, and Amanda French mentioned me in a comment.
Dude.
Right,
Dude.
sorry. With the internet around, almost nothing you do is anonymous. That means you may be held responsible for things you do in public, like rioting. The Guardian has an in-depth report on several website and Facebook groups exposing the identities of those who rioted in Vancouver after the Canucks lost the Stanley Cup. The targets are facing harassment and public shaming that some are calling internet vigilantism.
Happy Canada Day! Woo!
Who doesn't
They will
love a
find you.
good patent ruling?
Nobody.
I love it.
I mean, is there anything more fun?
It's like
Come
Christmas and Hanukkah rolled into one.
It is, with an explosion, Michael Bay
Makes
style.
Makes a Liquid Friday that much better.
All right, so this is a patent story. I'm going to make it quick. The International Trade Commission didn't impose any injunctions Thursday against Apple and RIM in a complaint filed by Eastman Kodak, sending the matter back to a lower court for review. It did, however, determine one question in Kodak's favor, so 1 out of 3. Not
Good job,
bad.
Kodak.
You're the
Yeah.
best. Kodachrome forever.
Make way for
wait.
the HTC eternity. Enough of this patent stuff. A blog called HTC Inside grabbed leaked specs of this Windows Phone 7 device that will run Mango. Has the usual specs like single core 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm processor and dual cameras. Oh yeah, it has a 4.7-inch screen. So
That's
this
just
is
silly.
This is gigantic. It'll look normal size in Jason's hands.
That's right.
It's massive, but it only has a resolution of 800 by 480. So pump up the resolution, guys.
That's going to be their advertising campaign. Finally, a phone that looks normal in Jason
Giant.
Howell's hand. His giant hand.
I'll never hold that phone. It's Windows Phone 7.
Wow, third time is not a charm for the Arizona police. They got hit again today. A file on Pastebin appears to be a master list of over 1,200 officers' usernames, passwords, email addresses, and additionally, 8 Arizona FOP websites were defaced, and hundreds of FOP documents and emails linked, some alleged to be racist or otherwise inflammatory in nature.
Little shakeup in the photo world, Polaroid style. Just kidding. Rico is purchasing the. This is not about. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for getting my reference. Shake it like a Pentax. Rico is purchasing the Pentax brand and camera business from current owner and proprietor Hoya Corporation. Hoya is going to hang on to the rights to manufacture and develop products for the medical field, while Rico is gobbling up the Pentax Imaging Systems product with a view to expanding its presence in the consumer digital camera market.
Exciting.
Pentax. I had one of those cams once.
Once.
I would like to
Yes,
see Pentax
just the
get
one.
some more love. They used to be pretty awesome.
I liked that camera.
I think they're still pretty awesome. They just,
Yeah.
According to Business Insider, the FTC is investigating Twitter's interactions with Uber Media. Officially, neither Twitter nor FTC has actually commented on the investigation, so it might not even exist. The FTC normally investigates companies for anti-competitive practices. In the recent past, Twitter has blocked a number of Uber Media apps for privacy issues and trademark infringement. Also, Uber Media was kind of rumored to buy TweetDeck, and somehow Twitter wound up winning that. So we'll see how that turns out.
On now to the randomizer.
Randomizer.
So when horrible things happen in the world, floods,
Famine.
earthquakes,
Locusts.
maybe getting your foot caught on the moving
Watermelon.
sidewalk at the Las Vegas airport.
Yeah. Google Plus goes down.
You call in celebrities to help.
Right.
So
Yes.
just like you get celebrity warnings, to watch your step on the moving sidewalk, or to not leave your wallet behind in the taxi. The
Mind the
LAPD
gap.
is asking celebrities to Twitter traffic information as they close the 405 freeway.
Yeah. So yeah, they're asking Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, Ashton Kutcher to do it. So the possibility of the tweet, "Hey, little monsters, avoid the 405 because it's really backed up today. And also put your claws up, as well as your headlights when it's raining during the day."
But they didn't even ask them to do like a special hashtag. Like if you're following these people and you're like, I don't know, in New York or San Francisco, you don't care about traffic conditions in LA. Why is there no hashtag? LAPD or
Well, I guess the
405
point is that so many people are following these people that it's actually a better way to disseminate information than like following the LAPD Twitter
turning on the
account that
radio?
a lot of people don't.
Well, it's not the only way they're
no, it is the
doing
only way.
and the 405, if you don't know, is a very significant loop.
It's a major artery.
It's a major artery in LA, and they're going to close it down the weekend of July 15th for work. It's a 10-mile stretch, I think, right? So they're just looking for all kinds of ways. It's LA. It's Hollywood. Lots of people follow these people. It makes sense to me.
It's actually the only city in which this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This sort of thing is just no
I
one
have-
in
I
LA
have no
will think
comments
this is
about what you
weird.
just said.
They'll say,
Yeah.
"Thank you, Ashton. Now I'm going to use an alternative route."
Sorry, somebody is in here. There's some sort of crazy hobo.
Wait a second.
What's
Wait
going on? Wait,
What is this hobo?
Justin, are you
I have no idea.
Are you in our studio?
There's some sort
Hold.
of.
Oh God.
This man is a
What is
madman.
going on?
Yeah, I have no. Yeah, it looks
Clocks.
pretty good.
He's in our studio.
I have no
That's
idea.
our studio that you wandered into,
We've never
dude.
even sat on our own. What are you doing in there?
You know, the
I don't
first
know.
broadcast from our
Why
studio
is
was
this
supposed to
man
be a
attacking
very
me with a
special
clock?
event.
Yes.
Oh, man, I can't
Well-
believe this.
Leo's probably pretty upset.
Yeah.
That's why you almost attacked him with clocks.
I know, and he can tell you the time. And
He was going to do that whole inaugural show on the 24th of
We
July.
just
and-
inadvertently scooped Leo.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess
New
we're just
studio.
we're gonna put this in the Wikipedia right
Justin,
now.
it was
Put it-
really
put
nice
it in the
knowing
calendar.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your short
Oh,
time
this
on
is the new
Earth.
studio.
Yeah.
Down the
Oh,
street.
yeah.
What are the chances? Just
It is
a-
kind of a
just an-
dark, empty building.
the drop
an
cam.
open door, a desk, and it turns out to be the TNT site.
I'll be a Flicky's
Unbelievable.
uncle.
Serendipitous.
I need to deal with this mentally. Let's do the calendar.
Robert Morris, the man who helped develop Unix, has died at age 78. But we also have some good birthday news.
Okay.
GSM is turning 20 today. 20, can you believe it?
Wow.
20
Oldest
years
Sonic
young. United Airlines is 80, and man, do they look it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They have spent too much time in the sun. Let's just put it that way. The Walkman turns 32.
Happy birthday,
Younger
Walk-
than
Wow,
me,
lots of
but not
July
by
1
much.
birthdays.
Yeah, and the FCC is a palindrome, 77 years old.
Very spry.
Yes, a spry FCC. Wonderful. The Lenovo IdeaPad K1 is up for Amazon pre-order. $500 the price tag. Reminder, it's a Tegra 2 Android slate, 10-inch screen, micro SD card reader, micro HDMI out, and a SIM card slot. The Vizio tablet is up for pre-order on Vizio's website for $400. It's going to start shipping on July 18th. AMD has announced it'll start selling its new A8 3850 and A6 3650 APUs on July 3rd. They both feature quad-core designs, discrete graphics level integrated GPUs, and a lot of other bells and whistles. And Sony's Welcome Back program, it's entering its final weekend. So you have got 2 more days to download free PS3 or PSP games, 100 virtual items from PlayStation Home, and 30 days of PlayStation Plus. If you are outraged by the outage, you need to get your free stuff before you can't anymore. Do it now.
The day after, you'll regret that you did it.
Pillage
That's right.
them.
Pillage
Yes.
them.
Take them for all they're offering. On now to the email. TNT@twit.tv. Sandy writes in, says, you sort of brushed off the Gigabyte Windows 7 tablet announcement in Show 275. I've had a Windows 7 slate/tablet for about 2 months and love it. XOPC 11.6 inch. I do not have to buy any apps because it's Windows. I tried several Android tablets and found them lacking and unable to sync well with my Windows machines. I've not tried an iPad, but I understand it will not work well if you do not have iTunes, and I do not. I was watching your netcast on my Slate/tablet, synced from my desktop with Windows Live Mesh. I can also watch movies on TV with Windows Home Group or netcast with Home Group. Windows 7 Slate/tablets do not have to catch up. They do not need apps to work. Well, he means because they already have apps.
They have applications.
They don't need new apps to be developed. Having everything on one operating system is a huge bonus. No learning curve. Sandy Oliver, proud defender of Windows 7 tablets. Thank you, sir. For your
madam.
sane, I guess it could be a madam. You're right.
Sounds like a beautiful
Thank
utopia.
you, person.
Thank you, human, if that's what you really are.
Thank you, possible human and/or robot, but obviously sentient being.
We can say thank you, emailer. How about that?
Thank you.
It may actually be a manifestation of Windows itself.
Windows has gained sentience and is emailing us.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Calls itself Sandy?
All right, we got another email from Tomas, the neuroscientist
Sandy Bridge?
from Sweden. Sandy Bridge is emailing us? Amazing.
Can't wait for Ivy Bridge to email us. She's hot.
Okay, so Tomas says, in yesterday's TNT, there was a discussion on the Google Hangout and the first appearance of video changing based on the person speaking. As a longtime user, I just wanted to enlighten you on where the specific function originates. Back in 2007, Google bought a Swedish company called Merritt. This company made video conferencing software that was the #1 choice in academia. One of the prominent features, besides very good audio codecs for its time, was the switch video on audio function. So when using Google Hangout, I recognized the user experience from that software. Quite a blast from the past. Now we know what these guys have been doing the last 4 years. Sometimes Google gobbles up companies and you wonder what they're doing. Why'd they do that? This seems to be one of those times when it's now obvious why.
It reminds me of the Kinect, which was an Israeli company that showed off their product at CES 2 years before the Kinect came out, and we all loved it. And we didn't know where it was going to go, and then it was kind of vapor hardware by the next year, but that's because Microsoft bought it and was turning it into the Kinect.
That's right.
So I like to find out these little backstories like this. Thanks, Tomas, the neuroscientist from Sweden.
You're probably real smart.
You know, neuroscientists.
hope you are.
Look at
Yeah.
Kiki, man. They're smart folks.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody on our subreddit for submitting stories today. Patrick Rigby, Stephen3X, GB Rayet, Flash Cider, HR Heim, SciPud, Midday, Patrick Rigby again, Chimera96, and more. We appreciate all the submissions of our 975 Tech News Today readers. Go there. If you don't even want to submit stories, you can just vote a couple up or down based on what you want to hear on Tech News Today. We take it into account. technewstoday.reddit.com. Since we know that Justin is actually in our studio now, you could have something in our studio too. Bricks.twit.tv, buy a brick and put your message on it, and that would be up in the hallway there.
Something along the lines of "Thanks for nothing, Justin Robert Young."
Thanks
Yes.
for ruining studio history,
something like that.
jury.
Or Diamond Club it.
You could just Diamond Club it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. Just a couple diamonds. That's fine. Go ahead, bro. It's bricks.twit.tv, kids. Buy them up.
Yeah, so Justin, besides usurping our first broadcast from the studio, what else are you up to these days?
Of course, folks, you can go ahead and find me at WeirdThings.com, where I blog every day, the Weird Things podcast with Andrew Mann and Brian Brushwood. But do me a favor, go ahead onto Amazon and download my friend Andrew Main's new book, The Chronological Man. It's only $1, Kindle ebook. All you have to do, or if you like Sherlock Holmes, Tony Stark, Howard Hughes, and adventure stories, Doctor Who, then you'll like that. Check it out, Chronological Man on Amazon.com.
Now we've just gotten word from our judges. It turns out that because A, he doesn't have permission, and B,
He's trespassing.
He's a guest host, and C, technically trespassing.
Yes.
His
I will be
broadcast
arrested.
from the Twit Brickhouse does not count.
It is
It
invalidated.
has been invalidated.
Yeah.
Your argument is invalid.
It looks like my time has run out, Tom.
I think that's true in many different ways, Justin.
Less than 0.
My friend Carlos will be contacting you
No,
soon.
not the Slim, not El
He's a
Slim.
great man.
Walk outside. There'll be a limo. When the door opens, get in.
Yeah, you will get in. You won't have
Exactly.
Take you
And
to
when,
a
when,
choice.
when you see the room covered in plastic, just keep walking. Don't worry about it.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, No Show Monday. We'll be celebrating Independence Day here in the United States, but we'll see everybody back on Tuesday. Happy Dominion Day to all you old-fashioned Canadians out out there. Twit.tv/TNT is our URL. You can email us TNT@twit.tv or give us a call 260-TNT show. We'll see you Tuesday.
Ha ha ha!